What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NFL DFS video breaking down Sunday Night Football. We've got San Francisco versus the Cowboys. We've got a showdown that we're going to talk about. Everyone has already had success with the showdowns lately, but we're going to give you some of the tips and secrets of roster construction to try to build them and how to go about them. So before we get started, the sponsor for this video and every other video is Outlier.Bet, so make sure you check them out, which you can see on the screen right now. And what I really love about them, you got insights that you can see, but if you want to see the insights even more, we've got them in our Discord, which is absolutely free. But what I do is I go to games. I go to the NFL, and then I come down to the game that we're about to talk about. So we are going to look at the Dallas Cowboys visiting San Francisco. San Francisco's 3-4. We've got the Cowboys 3-3. Currently an over/under of 47.5. We've got San Francisco having the money line. We've also got San Francisco by 4.5 is the current line. So what I love is you can see the different matchup summaries of which team does what. So we know the Cowboys defense has been atrocious this year. So you can just definitely check out who offers the most upside. And then you can go into player props and stuff like that too. So just different things to do. So make sure you check out Outlier. The link is down below, which you can sign up for. If you sign up, go through a 7-day free trial of their pro package. If you go to the regular package, we're going to give you a free month of FTA+. If you go to the pro package, we're going to give you 3 months free, which is a $90 value. So make sure you check out Outlier today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the statistics of how to build the winning lineups and stuff like that. Then we're going to build a couple of lineups on FanDuel and a couple of lineups on DraftKings as well. So if there are certain things you want to see in these videos, definitely let me know. And we can get them in the other videos for either Monday Night Football or this coming Thursday Night Football, stuff like that. So when we build around on DraftKings, here's the breakdown since last year of the winning lineups and what they had. So 84% of the winning lineups had at least one quarterback. And there's going to be chapters on this video. So if you want to skip ahead just to the lineup builds, you can do that, but we're trying to make you better at it. So we're trying to give you the statistics. 6% of the winning lineups used all 50,000 on DraftKings, which you don't feel like you need to. That's obviously 94% of the lineups did not use all of the salary. And we'll build a couple of lineups like that as well. 16% of them had a $200 player on DraftKings. So if we look at this and we go down to $200 players today, we've got a lot of people on IR, so it opens up some value, but not a ton of value down here. You got Deuce Vaughn, maybe. He does a couple of things, but he's not averaging much. Probably won't see much $200 players today that make any sense. 80% of the winning lineups on DraftKings have used a player 4,000 or less. So from counting down all the way. And you can see there's some that, Zeke averaging 4.5. Juszczyk 3.8. He could always sneak in a touchdown there. You got Taylor Jr. He could get in there. I don't know how much. Schoonmaker could get in there. So there are certain players you can. Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook just got elevated from the practice squad. See if he still has anything in the tank there. He's only 1,000. So those are certain players you could look at. The average salary on FanDuel used $47,500, and then stack percentages. These are huge. These are what everyone's looking for. But a 4-2 stack won it 44% of the time. A 3-3 stack won it 36% of the time, and a 5-1 stack only 21% of the time. So if this is a close game, they think it's going to be a 4.5-point spread. Kind of monitor the spread throughout the day, see if it changes with anything. You got a few questionable guys like Kittle. He'll play. It's National Tight Ends Day. Samuel will play. Debo will definitely play in there. Jordan Mason looks like he's healthy. We look like we're good to go in this game. So then we get to captain percentages. 39% of the time, the wide receiver has been the winning in the winning lineup as the captain spot or MVP on FanDuel. RB, 28% of the time, a running back has been there. QB, 17% of the time. Tight end, 7% of the time. It's National Tight Ends Day, though. You got Jake Ferguson. You got George Kittle. We can do both. Let's build some lineups with them in there. Defense, 7% of the time. And kickers, only 2% of the time. So what I'll say is we're going to build a few lineups. And if you follow us on Twitter, @advisors_team, and we're going to put out some same game parlay bets that we like for these games or for this game tonight. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. We'll do all of that as well. So welcome to the channel if you guys are new. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build a few lineups. We are going to look at, obviously, the number one is a wide receiver in the captain spot. So I'm going to look at CeeDee Lamb being the highest highest percentaged wide receiver at the top. Obviously, we're going to get him in there a little bit. You've got to get Dak to throw to him. So we're getting at least one quarterback. But I think we can get a little crazy here. I think we're going to go a 4-2 stack because I do think with how bad Cowboys defense has been that the Cowboys are going to be playing from behind. So let's get a 4-2 stack stacking the Cowboys against San Francisco. So I still think we got to get in Kittle because it's National Tight Ends Day. I think that's should be one there. Another one, kind of, who's the wide receiver 2 for Dallas? Where are we at? It's Tolbert. So if we look at Tolbert here, 8.3 fantasy points last time. Against Pittsburgh, they have a really good defense. He put up 21.7. He's got 2 touchdowns on the year with 24 receptions already. You can see the targets have been there, and I think he is going to play a pivotal role in this game. So 6,400 there. So now we're at 4,600 the rest of the way. So we can go different ways. Ricky Pearsall coming in. Obviously, we know he got shot. Then he came in. He has played 1 week. That was against Kansas City. Had 5 targets in that game. Obviously, Juwan Jennings being out. Ayuk being out. Pearsall's got to be wide receiver 2 here. Debo, not 100%. He's got an illness of some sort. So technically not 100%. Ricky is in here. He was 1,600 last week. He's 5,800 this week. Now that leaves us 3,500 on the table. Now, this is where we could get a little crazy. I think people might go with Bell a little bit. They might go with Conley. But I think a lot of people for Dallas might go with Zeke. I don't know. If you see what Zeke has done, he really hasn't done anything this year. 1 touchdown. Week 1, he had 40 yards and a touchdown. He's getting a little bit of receptions, but that's basically it. I want to get crazy a little bit. You could go Shoemaker. I don't mind Shoemaker, but I think Dalvin Cook might play a pivotal role in this game. I want to get him in there a little bit. So a 4-2 stack, I'm going to have a little bit of Dalvin Cook. And again, this is if I'm making like 20-plus lineups, if you play or 150 lineups, whatever you make, I think I want to get him in there a little bit too. So that's one lineup we're looking at. In a game here for a captain spot, if you think National Tight Ends Day, let's just look at a defense or Dallas type tight end. So I'm looking at Ferguson. So Ferguson as the captain at 10,200 allows you to go different directions. I want to get Debo in there for sure. I want to get Dak throwing to Ferguson, and I think we can get Purdy in there as well. Now we've got 2 spots left, 5,400 for 2 spots, which I think we can do. I think we can go Pearsall as well, and that allows us 5,000. So if we go down to 5,000, we got Carlson as the kicker. So if you look at this, he obviously didn't start the season off. He's only kicked once. But again, he was elevated last week. Or he was elevated from practice squad to active. He's going to start in this game against the Cowboys. You saw last week 2 field goals attempted, 2 made, 150-plus, had 8 fantasy points in that game. They lost that game to Kansas City. But if they are up like they think they're going to be, I think Anderson Carlson could be in store for a good spot there. So as you see, that is a 4-2 stack for San Francisco. We've got the kicker. We've got both quarterbacks. We've got National Tight Ends Day, Jake Ferguson leading the way. I like this matchup here for you. So that is where we build a couple of lineups. But let's try to build a different lineup. Maybe we'll look at the quarterback. Now, like we said, the quarterback has been in the winning captain spot 17% of the time. So it's not huge, but it is there. And we can use that for building a lineup. So let's look at Brock Purdy being the captain spot here and see where we can go with this. So we got Brock Purdy being captain at 14-1. Okay. He's throwing it to Pearsall. Again, everyone's going to be on Debo, but we can build a kind of a rounded one out there. I think we can get Dak in this lineup building there. I think we get Ferguson as well. And that leaves us 6,800 the rest of the way. Now, depending on where you want to go, you go Jordan Mason. You could. You could go CeeDee Lamb. You could go in that direction. Tolbert's there. Dowdle's there as well. But let's see what we can build there. So still 6,800. We're able to go different directions. We've got those guys. Now, where are we going to go? Do we want to pay up for Jordan Mason? He's in a great spot. Dallas is very bad against the run. If you look at what he's done, the problem is the last 3 games, he was hurt, obviously. Left the game early, had 73 yards still, hasn't been himself the past couple of games. But if there is a matchup that he could look at, Dallas's defense is giving up an average of 143.2 rushing yards per game, ranked 28 out of 32. They give up an average of 28 points allowed per game, which is 31 out of 32. So they're a very bad defensive team somehow. That leaves us 2,700 for a flex spot. Now, if we look at this, you could go Zeke if you think he's going to score. Go Juszczyk if you think he's going to vulture a touchdown. Schoonmaker if you think Ferguson's not going to do anything. But we could go Dalvin Cook again. We could go Dalvin Cook. We could go Schoonmaker. Elliott. Let's go Elliott in this one. So we've already got Dalvin Cook in one. But let's say Elliott is more motivated now that they've put another running back in the mix there. So the only problem is Dallas has so many running backs in the mix here, that scares me a little bit. But right here, that is a 3-3 stack with Dallas and a 3-3 stack with San Francisco. Now, the last one we're going to do is build with Dak as the captain spot. Because, again, we can do it. I think we can get around it. So let's look at this. So Dak coming here at 14-4 as your captain. Who's he going to throw to? CeeDee Lamb's the number one. I think he's going to throw to Ferguson as well. So we got to get Ferguson in there on National Tight Ends Day. So now we're left 6,000 for 3 spots. I think we can get Purdy in there because he's got to throw it to somebody. But this is going to be where it's a little bit off. But who is he going to throw it to? Can we fit in Kittle? We can't. So we can't fit in Kittle. He's the same price as what we've got left. So Tolbert, we could be throwing to Dallas. Pearsall is 5,800, which then only allows us 3,000. So if we go Pearsall, you've got Conley, which I'm not liking. We got Zeke again. We got Dalvin Cook, Juszczyk. We could probably go Zeke again. So we've got a 4-2 stack with Dallas. We're playing the game where we think San Francisco is going to be the spot of we're going to be playing from behind and throwing from behind. So those are some of the lineups you can build, some of the strategy behind it. Now, let's check out FanDuel and see what we can do over on FanDuel. Because I know a lot of you play FanDuel instead of DraftKings. So obviously DraftKings is a little bit different than FanDuel. We have one less spot here, and we've got an MVP spot that gets 1.5, which is kind of basically the same as captain. But we are missing a spot. So you got to build a little bit different. There's not like a set in stone type thing. So if you go like a Jordan Mason at MVP, I'm okay with. I do like the kickers. I like that. The main difference, I believe. No, I think last year they either took out kickers last year or the defenses last year. One of the two. I can't remember what it was. If you remember, let me know down below. I think it was something like that. But you got to be a little bit different here. It's going to be kind of hard to feel comfortable with both quarterbacks normally, but I think we can still do it because if you look at that, you got Jordan Mason as your captain or as your MVP. You can have both quarterbacks. You've got one kicker, and we still have 10,000 left over to build. So you could either go Pearsall at 90. I mean, his price is 9,500. You got Jake Ferguson if you think you want to go that direction, which is National Tight Ends Day. Don't forget. So you've got 2 Dallas and 3 San Francisco. I don't mind this whatsoever. I think we can get in there, and I think that's kind of what I want to do in this first build. So building a second one, we'll go back through and we'll build here. I don't like the interface. You can't just go back and build on top of what you've done. You have to go all the way back to the beginning. So now we're trying to build a second lineup that maybe feels a little bit comfortable. Again, I think we're able to get both quarterbacks in there. Let's put the highest wide receiver on there. Let's get both quarterbacks built through. Now we're average 9,000 for 2 spots. I think we can get Carlson in there again for your kicker because I think he's gonna have a good day. Then we're at 9,500. So you got Zeke at 9,500, which is wild. You can see the pricing difference right here. You can see the pricing difference is absolutely wild in here. So we've got. Do we want to go with Pearsall? Do we want to go with Zeke? Do we want to go with the other kicker, Brandon Aubrey, in this game? So if you look at what Brandon Aubrey's done, game logs, double digits every single game. Every single game because they seem like they're playing from behind. I think I want to get both kickers in there. A different way to go. We've left 500 on the table on FanDuel. I think we can do that. So let's do one more lineup, and then we're going to give you some of our favorite bets for Sunday Night Football. using Outlier.Bet. I think we're in for pretty good. I think it's going to be a fun Sunday night football game. And sometimes it's, different. Sometimes it's not fun. But I think this game hopefully sticks around and does a good, does us well. Kind of like what we saw on Thursday Night Football, which was a fantastic game compared to what we've been used to the majority of Thursday Night Football games. So, looking at this, I think the Cowboys are going to be playing from behind. And even if they're not, they're playing from up, and it's not the running back for Cowboys. It's going to be Dak. So we've got Dak at there. I think we can get both quarterbacks in here because we're still averaging 11,000 the rest of the way. Dak's got to throw here. I think I want to get... So Ferguson is 10,000. Kittle is 11.5. So you could go either way. So if we go Brock to Kittle, we're at 6,500. That brings us down to Schoonmaker. So Dak to Schoonmaker. You could go that way. Or we get rid of Kittle and we go with Ferguson. Then we're at 8,000. So Guerrero, which I don't think he does anything. You got Tolbert, which, wide receiver 2 in this lineup. Down game against Detroit, but the defensive rank was bad. But if you look at the defensive rank that he's got, it's 12, so it's not the best. But, if they're double teaming CD, we've got to have Tolbert there. So there you go right there. 4-1 San Francisco stack. And then let's do one more where we do an actual San Francisco over San Francisco stack than Cowboys. And then we will give you some of our favorite bets for today. Or for tonight, Sunday Night Football. So build one more lineup. I want to put Jordan Mason at the MVP spot. I want to get Purdy in there, and I want to get a kicker in there as well. Because I think we're able to build using that. So now we're at 11,500 for 2 spots available. I think we can get Dak in there, and I think we can get Ferguson in there for National Tight Ends Day. I love this lineup as well. So these are the lineups I am building. You've seen me enter them on DraftKings. You see me enter them on FanDuel. Those are the lineups I'm going. Some of the lineups I'm going with. I will make some tweaks if like Debo is a late scratch or something like that, obviously. So we've got about 9 hours left to see. So now we are going to use Outlier.Bet, which we absolutely love Outlier.Bet. We are going to see who we like. So I love the player props, but we are going to go to props, okay? We can even break it down by game, which is even better, which I love. I love being able to break down. That's what I've seen. So let's go down here to the Cowboys at the 49ers. Let's apply this, and let's look at what we've got. So if you want to build around and you want to see a certain player, so I'm going to go George Kittle. It's National Tight Ends Day. We're going to have a National Tight Ends game here. So over 54. So I'm going to go over this. I might go to outlines. We'll see. But what I love about Outlier, you can do this and put it in your little sports and your slip, and then it'll take you out to your book. So I'm going to have Kittle over 49.5. I'm going to add that to my picks. I also want to have Kittle as a touchdown. Now, these, again, touchdown ones are very dependent. We obviously know that, but it's National Tight Ends Day. I think he has 50 yards and a touchdown. I'm going to go the same thing with Ferguson. Get a little bit of Fergie in here. Want to get him with receiving yards over 40.5. Can we alt it to 50? 140. You see, obviously, 2 games he didn't have it, but in this matchup, I think they're going to have to throw it a ton. I've got him over 40, so 50 plus, and then I want to get him for a touchdown, add that to picks. So if you were to look at that, you can do these on DraftKings. But here's where I want to go. Now, I want to go with the quarterbacks as well. So the 2 quarterbacks, I'm going to go Purdy. I want to do touchdowns thrown. You could do yardage too if you want. And then you can go to the props and you can go touchdowns, passing touchdowns. So we look at the prop here and it's on both. Over, so 2 plus touchdowns. I'm going to add that to my picks. And then I'm going to go Dak, the same exact thing, as long as they're both in there and you've got able to do it. So over 2. So 2 plus for him. Add that to my picks, which you can see Didn't get it against Detroit, but I had 3 straight there. So I am going to add that to my picks there. 6 play same game parlay. You can play all 6 on FanDuel. You can play all 6 on DraftKings. So you can change your book, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to add it to my bet slip, and it'll take me out to DraftKings. So I'm going to pause this and log into DraftKings and do this. All right. So looking at this, when I got to it, when I did the same game parlay, it only allowed George Kittle 60 plus receiving yards instead of 50 for whatever reason on a same game parlay. So I might remove the Kittle receiving yards from 60 because you can't go any lower for some reason. So if you go down to Kittle, you go to receiving yards, it's blacked out up to 60. So we're at 2,100 without the 60. Ferguson's still at 50. You got Brock and Dak, both 2+, but I think I'm going to add a couple more passing props. I want Dak Prescott, or I want to go Brock Purdy, 225. And I want to go Dak, 250. Now, I do have bonuses here on DraftKings. So Sunday Night Football, we got plus 400. It's going to give me 33% boost. I'm going to bump that up. It's 3,400. So you go $5, you go $10, whatever it is. I'm gonna do $10 on it. I'm gonna do a $10 7-pick parlay. So Kittle touchdown, Ferguson touchdown, Ferguson 50 yards, Purdy and Dak both 2+ passing touchdowns, and then Brock for 225 and Dak for 250. So if you follow it, let me know down below. Hopefully we have some success. Hopefully we have a great Sunday night. That's what I've got in this video. If you found it helpful and informative, hit the like button and subscribe if you have not. Be on the lookout for the Monday Night Football breakdown as well. Good luck, and as always, bring home some bacon. Peace.